Everyone. This is Nitya Ramachandra from the NR Hour Sports Show. This is episode 1002. We are joined by a really special guest. His name is Rafer Alston, a former NBA point guard, and alongside with our special co-host today from Shot Makers League, Robert Foster. Thanks for joining the show, Rafer. It's truly an honor, and we are live on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Spotify, on all the podcast platforms. So fans, you can tune in the Spreaker app. You can ask. You can also ask questions to Rafer today. And Rafer Alston, we finally made this happen. I know we've been discussing this for a while. And first of all, how are you and your family doing today?
Everything's good, man. Everybody's doing well.
That's good. Yeah, so Robert, you can lead it off if you want.
All right. Hey, Skip. First, I like to get the origin. I like the people to get the origin of the name Skip to Malou.
Yeah.
And where it comes from.
Skip to Malou comes from, I was playing in the playground in New York City, playing in Rucker Park. And one day I decided to think of something to do to get the crowd off their feet during the game. And I thought of, if I ever get on a 2-on-1 or 3-on-1 fast break, that I would, let the ball, I would put a little backspin on the ball and I would skip up the court and make the defender think I'm not really paying attention to the ball. And if he goes for the ball, I told myself I'm just going to wrap it around, throw it to my teammate. I had no idea it was going to be true to form. And the guys doing the play-by-play, the commentary with the microphone out there, they gave me the nickname Skip to Malou off that one move, and never thought that name would stick with me for the rest of my life and be so legendary.
Wow. Yeah, that's a name that no one can take, Rafer, from you. You got to keep that locked in.
Yeah, indeed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so tell our fans, when did you get interested in playing basketball, and especially point guard? But did you get to play any other positions while growing up?
Oh, I stopped playing ball when I was like 5 years old, and it was just something that I fell in love with from day one when it was introduced to me. And growing up in New York City, man, we had so many point guards to learn from, every day. So I only played one position. I played point guard my whole life from the first time I ever touched the basketball. So, I didn't. I like I said, growing up in New York City, you have so many guys to learn from, whether it was high school guys, pro guys, college guys, and even local guys that didn't play major college basketball or ever get a chance to go to the NBA. We had so many guys to learn from.
Hey, Ray, was Booger Smith an impact on you at all in the New York area?
Booger was an impact on a lot of us. I mean, he was ahead of his time when we were all young. He was definitely a guy that you could pick some things from. And that was a good thing about, again, that's a good thing about growing up in New York City. Guys that are your age or maybe a year older or younger, you could get some things from him. He definitely was one of those guys.
Cool. Yeah, so speaking of growing up in New York City, did you grow up watching the New York Knicks, and did you look up watching Kenny Anderson? We had Kenny Anderson on the show 2 years ago, and I was just curious, did you look up to him while growing up, and also did you look up to the New York Knicks?
Oh yeah, good. You definitely was a Knicks fan when you're young, growing up. Had a lot of heartaches when the Bulls keep beating us in the playoffs, and then of course in '94 when they lost the championship to the Rockets. But you're definitely a Knicks fan, and you were diehard at those times when you're growing up. Kenny Anderson, he was our idol. He was the guy that we, all his youngsters tried to follow and catch all of his games. If he played a high school game or he played in a league or an AAU game, you try to find out where and when Kenny was playing so you could watch him. He definitely was everything to New York City high school basketball, and especially when he went to college at Georgia Tech. He took his show there, and he didn't let anyone down. He made sure that everything that he was in high school, he did it in college, and had a long career in the pros, man. So definitely a guy that I idolized and looked up to.
Hey, as a pro, what did you find was the biggest difference in the pro level? And I know you play, all the parks all across the world. what did you find that was that separator from the guys who, were at the Rucker, at the Entertainers Basketball League, that could play at a high level, but it just didn't quite get there? What did you find was that thing that separated guys?
What separated them is one, the mental aspect, the mental toughness. The next thing that separated guys from, from Rucker or any playground that I played in, the guys that were really good from pros is the work ethic. How they treat their body, and how many hours they put in working on their game and working on their craft. That's separated. And then one of the main things is understanding that it's not about you and it's about the team. When you play in the playground game and everything, everyone loves that individual, whether that individual's team wins or loses. On the playground, as long as I went out there and gave them a show, that's what they worried about. In the pros, it's about the team, and you got to be willing and to accept your role and understand that the team needs you to play that role to help us win. And for some, it could be difficult because most of your life and career playing ball, everyone gravitates to you, and most teams you've been on has been about you. But when you get to the NBA, man, it's 3,000 of you.
Yeah.
It's so many players that could do what you can do, if not better. And you got to be able to find your niche on those teams and accept your role, man, on those teams.
Yeah, so we are live with former NBA point guard Rafer Alston. We have a fan question for you. One of our fans want to know how many ankle breakers did you have throughout your career?
Oh man, ankle break countless. I never keep up with it, and as I got older, you learn it's just a part of the game.
Yeah,
it's a part of the game. Some people have shook me before, and so if you play this game long enough, it's gonna happen to you. But if you're a guy like myself with such ability to handle the ball and have some these type of moves, you'll probably catch more people than they'll catch you. But I don't know how many I have.
Hey Rafe, what player, once you made it to the league, what player shocked you the most to see in person, whether you played with them or you played against them? Who was like somebody you were like, wow, like I really didn't know that guy was that good?
I would say that one guy would be McGrady. You see some of the scoring and these things, but when you play with him, you're around him every day, practice and games and stuff, you realize the special talent, the special ability that he has, and people didn't really want to give him credit for. He's one guy that was relentless with his work ethic. He's relentless with his determination to be one of the best. And he's relentless. He was relentless in trying to help a team win. He got so much backlash for not being able to get his teams out the first round. But a person like me who understands the game, understands the team, it wasn't him. And that was the one guy I played with. That was like, wow.
Oh, yeah. So you got to play with a lot of teams throughout your career, a lot of great teams like the Bucks, Raptors, Rockets, Magic, and the Nets. But I want to get to the Heat because they had this mantra, obviously Heat culture. Obviously Pat Riley runs the team, and great franchise, great front office. And what stood out for you when you went? You had 2 stints with them. So what stood out to you playing with the Miami Heat and their fan base, and playing with Dwyane Wade, and as everyone knows, 2010, that's when they settled the big 3 too. So,
well, it was you learn discipline, you learn being held accountable, being responsible to your team. You learn what it was to work with everyone, not just the players and coaches, everyone within the organization, that you all play a major part, and we all have to do our job and do it every day for us to win and be successful. So you made sure you kept your body in shape. You did everything you need to do to come to work and to be taught how to be a professional. and that's what stood out to me is that you weren't going to have slip ups, and then that was the beauty of playing down there, playing under that organization with those guys that we were going to be well conditioned, we was going to be in shape, we were going to hold each other accountable, and you're going to learn what it is and to come to work every day and do your job, and to me, playing it helps you in life going forward, not just in basketball.
And just a quick follow-up to that. What was it? Tell our fans, what was it like playing with Dwyane Wade?
It was wonderful. I played with him his rookie year. That's when I had the most fun with him, was when he was young. And you watch him develop and become something special all in 1 year. Obviously I knew of Dwyane when he played in Marquette because I was with the Bucks at the time. And I knew how special he was on the court. But I watched him grow in that game in the NBA in 1 year. He had a lot of ups and downs, injuries, missing games, learning how to utilize the jumper, the pull-up jumper, the mid-range jumper. He was always an attack player that year, but then as the season went on, and he instantly became our leader as the season went on. So it was great playing with him.
Wow.
Hey, speaking of the jumper, so my thing is the art of shooting. I love the art of shooting. And the Shot Makers League, that's what we're building this league for, is for the art of shooting. Now, I know you're very familiar with Rucker, and we all see the games that went on at Rucker, but behind the scenes, what's the craziest shootout you've ever seen for cash at a basketball at the Rucker?
To be honest, I never really saw to me like shootouts as far as people bet. People usually bet money on the game. Not so much one guy, this guy, these three guys will go out there and shoot it out. People tend to bet on their teams, their favorite teams. Those were the craziest times. And to be honest with you, it's not just Rucker. Like, one thing about New York City, we have so many different leagues. So many different at those times. I don't know how it is now, but back then we had so many different leagues, so many different boroughs. You go to any borough, and it wasn't just Rucker Park. But the good thing is that, man, any given day, any given night in one of those leagues, man, a lot of money can be wagered on those two teams playing. And then get crazy. But for the players, it's all love, and it's all that's just what we did every day out there.
Wow. Yeah, so we have another fan question for you. One of our fans wanted to know, tell them some of your best moments at Fresno State in the NBA too.
One of my best moments at Fresno State is we played at the University of Texas on CBS, and I probably had one of my best games. I think I had 24 points, like 7 assists, 7 rebounds, something like that. So, that was one of my best. Obviously, we didn't go to the NCAA tournament, so one of my other best moments at Fresno was us making it to the NIT semifinals, going all the way back to New York City. It was good. A lot of your friends and family get the chance to come in the Garden and watch you play. And another good moment at Fresno was that I played against Kareem Reed, one of the guys I used to battle against at Rucker Park. He played with Arkansas University, so we had a chance to play against each other in a non-conference game. It was cool to get a chance to play against one of your buddies. The NBA has a lot of good moments, man. One of my greatest moments was playing with Orlando, going all the way to the finals. We lost to the Lakers, man. That was like a dream come true to make it to the finals. Then again against the Lakers, when I played in Houston, making 8 threes against them to keep our 22-game winning streak alive. Wow. That was great. A great moment in my NBA career was playing with Lamar Odom, a guy from my neighborhood. I'm just slightly older than him, but it was fantastic and phenomenal to see 2 guys from the neighborhood not only make it to NBA, but get a chance to play with each other on the same team. That's just to name a few, man. I mean, the whole journey was great. The NBA was a dream come true. Yeah. Playing at Fresno State, playing on ESPN and national television most of my nights in college was great. So it was just living out a dream on both levels.
Wow.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about LO and how was that playing with him. Seeing LO, firsthand, like you said, him being a little younger than you, him being one of the first 7-foot point guards that could really, do that thing. And, what he brought to Rhode Island when he went and how, he kind of shocked it. I was in high school then, or middle school really. when he came on the scene, and it was just a big shock to see somebody like his size handle the ball and do the things he was doing. How was it to know, already know before he even got to the league, like what he was potentially going to be, and to, like you said, see somebody that you grew up with? How was that to be there together in a place that, less than 1% of people make it to?
It was great, man. It was phenomenal. The good thing about us from that area that we've known Lamar when he's a young kid, with that size and ability, we knew, you don't know, but you got this feeling that he was going to make it to the NBA. It was just a matter of when. Because that's unbelievable to see a guy like 6'10", handle the ball the way he handles the ball, can pass the way he passed. You don't see that often. But just seeing him and watching him come up, through his childhood and middle school, high school, and college, man, it was just phenomenal to watch him out there. Be such a special player at that size that when he got to the NBA, a lot of us from New York City, we were like, it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing accomplishment because of all the ups and downs, the trial and tribulation that you have to go through just to make it out of New York City. And for him, himself, he was going through a lot, dealing with different things going on with his family. To see him make it was just a wonderful accomplishment. For me to have played with him on the same team was just phenomenal. And it's hard for him and I at that time to enjoy each other because we're playing and trying to win and we got to work every day. But it was amazing. It was unbelievable.
The pick and roll game must have been fun with him.
It was fun. But I think mainly just to get him the ball.
Yeah,
that was great.
You don't want to mess with him now. He's a boxer now, so.
Yeah, I see.
But yeah. So tell our fans. Obviously, you got to play against a lot of great players throughout your career, especially the late Kobe Bryant and LeBron. So describe to our fans and what was it like playing against LeBron and Kobe?
Well, playing against both of them is tough. These are guys that they could beat you in every possible way. They're relentless with their attack and ability to score the ball and make special plays. And their unbelievable drive to win. Mm-hmm. Being Kobe Bryant and LeBron James was amazing, man. Yeah. The good things I can tell my kids and grandkids that, I was on the court with both of them. I was able to be a part of a team in Orlando that knocked LeBron out the playoffs to go to the finals. And I can say that I've lost to Kobe in the finals. Mm. The one thing like I said, about these guys is that they not only beat the players, they could defeat the coaches, because you got to remember that every scheme is about stopping those guys. Every time down the court, your defense is geared to how we got to stop those guys, and they're still that good and able to get 29, 30 points, 8, 9 assists, 7, 8 rebounds, and with all the focus on them. That lets you know how good these guys are and how great they were.
Yeah. Hey, Rafe, your path to the NBA, wasn't necessarily a traditional one. And what would you tell a player that's on their way and they want to hit that goal? What kept you motivated and what kept you inspired to fulfill your career?
Well, what kept me motivated and inspired is just, the dream and the will to, never give up, and the belief I had in myself. A lot of my journey through it was a lot of self-inflicted, so that's why for me, it was easy for me to keep striving and keep going, because I knew it was just a matter of changing a few things, off the floor and in the classroom, and, I'll be able to get it done. So, it's different if someone was doing something to you, trying to enable you to go far in the game that you dream about. So for me, being that things were self-inflicted majority of the time, it was easy for me to just, have those conversations with yourself about, getting on the straight and narrow path and just continue to strive and keep pushing forward. And that's what I would tell these youngsters, that, man, just, never lose sight of the dream. and don't let no one deter you and stop you from going forward. Believe in yourself and just keep working. Keep working.
Another fan question for you. They want to know, what was your hype music before a game?
Really, to be honest with you, I really never had hype music. I was always hyped to play, ready to go to game. I was never those guys that needed rap music to get me going. Like from the NBA, sometimes if I'm driving to the game, I might put on some mellow, like I might ride to the game with some R&B music. It just, but I was already motivated every day for practice and games. Man. I just loved the game that much that I didn't need things to be said about me or someone to music to get me going. I'm ready to go. I just love playing that much.
Like, what would you say was like your biggest influence as far as like your showmanship? Was there anybody that you saw ahead of you that kind of inspired you to not just play the game, but to play it with a flair and to leave your mark on it like that?
Well, the flair and the passion really comes from playing in New York City. That's what we, again, when I was coming up, man, that's what we thrived on. Our flair, our passion for the game. That was an everyday thing, trying to throw the no look, the razzle dazzle.
Yeah.
We had so many guards to look up to: Mark Jackson, Kenny Anson, Kenny Smith, Pearl Washington, Rod Strickland. We had so many guys to look up to. And then my NBA guys that I love was, Isaiah and Magic Johnson. So, I credit all those guys I named and some that I probably left off that they all, I always watched those guys when they doing their thing. And, we just had a passion for the dramatic and something to make the crowd go ooh and ah.
Yes, sir.
Rafer, you're in my opinion, you're the most underrated point guard we ever seen play the game, and you obviously had a great career, over 6,000 points, over 1,000 rebounds, over 3,000 assists. Man, that's a heck of a career, underrated point guard for sure. And tell our fans, who was the toughest point guard that you had to face throughout your career?
In the NBA, man, every last one of them are tough. Because one thing about the NBA, any given night, these guys can score 35 on you any given night. Some of the toughest guys to play point guard was the guys that get screen after screen after screen after screen.
Yeah.
So it's hard guarding Steve Nash and the Chris Paul because it's pick. The guys that are gonna score 30, average 27, 30 points, you already know what's coming. So what you're trying to do is take some away and limit some things and understand that they're going to get their 30 because their team could go. So like Allen Iverson is arguably tough to guard and play, but you knew that it was going to be attack, score. So you're going to limit. You try to look, man. If he's going to get 30, he's going to get 30 with contested jump shots, and I'm not trying to let him go to a strong hand, right? And even if I do take all that away, he's that good, and his team is going to give him 60, 70 possessions to get those points, But the guys that keep every time down, you're getting hit on one side, then they come and hit you on the other side. You got to try to get over the next big net. Those are the toughest guys because it's every possession you're getting bumped, hit, and all that, So for me personally, I found it tougher to guard those guys than it was the guys that going to get the isolation on you. But to be honest with you, every single night is a tough night for point guards in that league.
Yeah, speaking of that, as a point guard, and you talked earlier about schemes, right? About how Orlando you would scheme directly for Kobe or scheme directly for LeBron. What was the hardest team for you to play against? Like what team brought the best team defense or the best scheme that you faced?
It's different year because year in, year out, some teams change. When you played against a Philadelphia team when they had Iverson, Snow, McKee, and them. That was a hard team to play with. Their defense was going to be the defense was one of the best at the time. Some of the hardest teams to play against is teams that have so much length, like they have length at every position. Sometimes like back then you play against Kobe, the Lakers, where they could play all lengthy guys. Kobe, Lamar, Gasol, Ariza. They got 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", 7 foot across the board with their point guard could be Fisher, somebody that's 6'3", 6'4". So, it's different teams pose different defensive problems for you, and you got to be up for the challenge and understand what they're doing defensively. Then you got some defenses that they do a lot of switching to it. It kind of stops you from attacking right away. It gives you a little hesitation because of the switch. So it depends who you're playing in different years, who their personnel is. It changes.
Yeah. So after your career, you were a coach too. I think you were coaching kids at some point. And there's a new era now in the NBA where the teams are giving chances to former NBA players who hasn't coached yet. Like for example, Steve Nash, and then now coach with the Nets. And what do you like about the new trend where teams are giving chances to first-year head coaches in the NBA?
I love what they're doing with the first-year coaches, and sometimes you need try something new. Remember, the game is forever evolving. It's young now, and sometimes those great coaches from the past, sometimes you find it a little difficult to relate and get what you need to get out of those young players, as opposed to what they were getting out of guys that were a little older. It's not to say those guys are bad because all those the older, they're phenomenal coaches. They know the game, they know the league, they know how to navigate through a season, the tough times, the ups and downs, the distractions. The one thing the coaches that are first year, they can relate to today's players a little bit better, and it's a different voice than what everyone in the organization is used to hearing. And I think sometimes change is good. Change is good.
Yeah. Hey, Ray. So let the people know, like, what are you cooking up right now? What are you working on right now? What do you have
right now, I coach 7th and 8th grade middle school AAU. I coach varsity high school out here in Texas, private school varsity ball. And that's what I've been doing. I stay in the gym, and hopefully I can. I'm looking forward to try to maybe advance and coach in college one day.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think you can be a great college coach, NBA, and also NBA coach at some point. And for example, TJ Ford, he's coaching the kids also.
We live by each other.
Yeah.
Our teams play against each other sometimes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you guys can make good college coaches or even NBA coaches down the road. And for you, speaking of the NBA, what are your thoughts on the new format they have now, the play-in tournament, which starts tomorrow? Your former team is in it with the Nets.
I don't like that.
You don't like it?
I think it's disgusting. I think it's disgusting. If a team, like if you're the 6th or 7th seed, whatever, 7th, and you had a solid season to get you to the 7th spot, why do you have to take a chance of playing a one-game thing and get eliminated, right? Why does a guy, a 9th and 10th seed, they didn't have a good season?
Yeah.
So why are they being rewarded? I don't understand. That the playoff format was not broken.
Mm-hmm.
They should never agree. The Players Association, they should have never agreed to that. That's wrong. It should not, no one could really, what is the reason for it?
Yeah.
And if you were gonna do it, they might as well play a 3-game series.
Right. Why
does it have to be a 1-game elimination? So that's what I don't understand. I don't understand. So if you're the 7th seed, you earn the right to be in the playoffs and have a playoff series with the 2nd seed.
Yeah.
You have a right. You earn that right to play the 2nd seed in a 7-game series. Why do you have to play the 10th team in a 1-game to where if you're not on your game for 1 game, you're out of the playoffs. Yeah. You're not in the playoffs. That's not right.
Do you think it's more so just about like the money, maybe capitalizing on the hype?
Everything's about the money. I mean, I understand that. So if it's about the money, why wouldn't they play a 3-game series then?
Right.
Think about it. If it was so-called about the money, why wouldn't you make it a 3-game series for the play-in people?
Mm-hmm.
Each team gets a home game. One of them gonna get 2 home games. Because it's more money.
I mean, more so like the hype of, because March Madness ends, right? We just ended March Madness and they have the 1-game eliminations. Yeah. And it's kind of like they're feeding off that energy with it.
Yeah, but why? Yeah. You don't have to feed on no energy when you've been doing it this way for so long. What energy? The NBA players has its own energy.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is gearing up right now for the NBA playoffs. What did a 1-game elimination tournament? What did that do? And if it's about the money, well, you had a chance to make a lot of money if you did a 3-game series. And they could have played three straight games, 3 straight days.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand it.
Yeah, I think this format. I think whoever loses. I mean, for example, whoever loses the Nets Cavaliers game tomorrow will play the winner of the 9th and 10th seed. I think to get another chance to go into the play. I think that's how it works.
Even, and if you think about it for a second, like that's still silly.
Yeah.
That's still silly. Why is a team that didn't have a good enough season to make the top 8 playoff, they're getting 2 cracks of making it to the play? Why?
Mm-hmm.
If you put the 7th seed, 8th seed in that tournament, they should not. They should. I don't see why would they have a chance of being eliminated? Why would they be eliminated?
Right.
Even if they get 2 cracks, why would they? There's no rhyme or reason for this tournament. There's no rhyme or reason.
As a former player, are you guys in on the voting on things like this?
No. No, that's for whoever's in there today. That has more to do with the NBA and the players currently, and the Players Association, all that stuff. But
yeah,
I hope they vote that out and cut that out. Let's leave it at the top 8 teams of East Division. Let those other 2 teams that you didn't make it, man, go ahead, start your vacation.
I agree. I think I think they need to go back to where it was before, like when you guys played top 8 teams and go from there. But for you, what's it like coaching the youth now, coaching the kids, and helping them to get better and sharing your stories and your experiences as a player with them?
It's fun and difficult at the same time.
Yeah.
These aren't your everyday kids that are everyday basketball mind and body and soul when it comes to basketball. So you almost have to teach them everything. You can't stop teaching and coaching because these players, they don't play every day. They're not watching at ball every day. Times are different. They have too many devices, too many things to distract them from staying in the game that they're dreaming about playing. But it's fun to try to help young kids try to achieve and get to the same place that you were fortunate and blessed enough to get to. And that's what keeps you going with these young men, is that you just try to give them everything that I've learned throughout my travels in this game from the time I was young all the way to now, and you try to pass it on to them.
Hey, Rafe, outside of the game of basketball, right, outside of playing, what was one of the things that basketball did bring to you along your journey? Like what's the key thing that you got from the game of basketball aside from just playing and being on that stage, like some of your relationships?
The main thing is going to get an education. It's not so much it's what basketball, what you can get from the game. And that's one thing we got. I try to teach the kids, man. You get your scholarship to get your free education and get a degree with this game. And along the way, you meet so many, you meet a lot of people, some good, some bad, but you meet a lot of good people, man, that can help you if you don't make it into the professional level, go overseas or NBA, that have great businesses and can help you along the way. And basketball, sports helps you with life.
Yeah.
Like I said before, earlier we talked about the heat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It helps you with discipline. You understand you have to go in the workforce, that you're part of a team. And you have to do your job, do what you're there to do to help that job succeed and help that company succeed. So that's one thing sports has done for me. It continues to help you in life. Things don't go well in the basketball court. You still got to have some resolve. You got to be calm. You got to be collected, and you got to be able to continue to go out there and play. It's the same thing in life. When things aren't going your way in life, you got to be able to have some resolve. You got to be able to have some determination to still get up every day and do what you need to do for your family.
Yeah, we have another fan question for you. Even though you're coaching right now, they want to know, have you considered playing in the Big 3 league?
I considered playing the Big 3 years ago, but now no. I'm 45, so I'm just afraid to take an injury that I don't really want to deal with. As with my age and going forward. But I've thought about it. What
are your thoughts on that league? And it's amazing because it gives all these former players opportunities to get back into it. Like for example, Delonte West, what a story, man. Inspiring story, being able to come back and play in the league. And also you got Contino Mobley there. A lot of great former players there. What do you like about having them coming back? Like Ice Cube running the league too.
That's a good thing. It's a good chance for those guys to get back together. Some of us don't see each other, and we don't get a chance to see each other since basketball. It really gives a lot of the fans that are and still fans of those guys to see them again.
Yeah.
And you get a chance to appreciate why you were a fan of theirs. They're back then. You get a chance to appreciate them one more time. And it's doing well. I mean, the concept is great. You're not running up and down trying to kill yourself. You're half court, and you get it again. You get to just show your love for the game and your love and respect and care for guys you played with and against.
Hey, taking it back a little bit, how was it the first time you saw that And One mixtape when it started circulating around the country?
It was great, man. When I first saw it, it was just unbelievable. You don't get a chance to understand your impact on fans around the world, and especially fans in New York City, until I got a chance to see the tape, and you're like, oh wow, you realize, oh man, it was more than just you playing in a summer league game to some people. That was the beauty of it, is that I realized my effect on the game in New York City, and then all of a sudden around the world.
Yeah. So what do you like about the youth now in the NBA with the young point guards like Ja Morant, Trae Young, Kyrie Irving? Obviously, who's the one of the point guards that you like to watch right now in the league?
I love watching them all, but the Ja Morant for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I like watching them all, man. I'm such a fan of basketball, and I'm amazed at the coaching of these young men. I mean, these men, because they're allowing them to bring their game to the forefront, and they're allowing them to their God-given talent, their ability to be showcased. And that was different when I was playing. When I was playing, everybody wanted to see skits on Lou. I didn't play for coaches that were going to allow me to do some of those things. So, and I tip my hat to those coaches that, they understand these young men, these men ability, and they're allowing them to show their passion, their flair for the game, as well as coaching them to win and to be team players.
Yeah, the game now, like you said, you got guys like Ja Morant, throwing down windmills and, dunking on people like he's 6'7". When you look back, do you say like to yourself sometimes, like, man, like I should have laid it on a little bit thicker. Maybe I should have dunked on a few more people, or do you just, kind of just feel like I did my thing? I really tip my hat to what's going on now, or do you kind of be like, man, I kind of held back a little bit?
No, I tip my hat to him. I mean, but I felt like that while I was playing. When it's over, I don't feel that. I mean, I know I held back a lot when it comes to showing that game of But I tip my hat to him. I enjoy watching him play. There's no regrets. Yeah, I have no regrets. I had the regrets while I was playing.
Right.
I don't have no regrets when it's over. But while I was playing, I'm like, man, after a game, like, I should have hit him with this. I should have hit him with that one out there today. But when it's over, man, I'm so thankful and grateful for being able to live out a dream.
Yeah. So out of all the cities you played in, what would you say your favorite city to play in?
A lot of them good cities. I made them good cities for me. I made a lot of friends in all these cities, man. But I would say Toronto would be one of the best.
Yeah.
One city that was shocking to me that was really good was Orlando. When you think of Orlando, you think of Disney and all that stuff, but Orlando was a shocking city. I thought it was a phenomenal place to be, to live, to play. But I loved every place I played, man. Houston, Miami. I even found love in from Milwaukee. I met a lot of friends that we're still friends today. I view as family from Milwaukee, and so. That was the beauty about playing ball. I mean, you get to travel in places that if you didn't play ball, like I would never end up in Milwaukee if I didn't play ball. And then I get there because of basketball. I realized, man, it's a cool place, man. Cold, but cool place.
What was it like playing with the young Vince Carter in Toronto with the highlight reel with the dunks?
It was pretty cool, man. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to play with him full
Oh.
throttle. I didn't get a chance to play with full throttle. Like, I was sparingly.
Yeah.
But he was phenomenal, man. Just amazing athlete, amazing player, an amazing individual.
Hey, outside the NBA, top 3 street ballers you played against.
Shoot, I can't even call it. I can't remember these guys, man. Some of them dead and gone, man.
Wow.
But it's so many names, man. That any given night, these guys could do it, man. The Future's one, Alamo, Master Rob. There's so many, man. It's hard to just name 3. These guys are phenomenal. They were phenomenal at what we were doing and what they do out there. And the only sad part is the world didn't get the chance to see them play in the NBA and things like that. So, but they were phenomenal basketball players.
I'm sure you watch college basketball too. So which player do you like to watch in college basketball, especially point guard in college?
College ball. What point guard in college? It's tough college. I'm so concentrated when I watch college ball every day. I'm concentrating on the team.
Yeah.
And I'm forgetting the point guards in college. They move around too. That's the hardest part for me is that they on one school this year and the very next year they don't put their name in
the transfer portal.
You got to try to locate where they're at the next year. So it's very hard to keep up. And then some of them are into the draft. So I probably know them as NBA players before I remember them as college players. Because I do follow a lot of college ball. I follow teams. I watch a lot of ball.
Hey, Ray, outside of basketball, what would be one of your biggest interests?
Man, I don't know. I don't really have too many interests outside of ball. Man. Ball is me. Ball is my life. I don't know. I used to love going to the movies. I used to love going bowling. But really, man, I think my calling was ball. I stay with ball, try to stay around the youth and guys that help the ball. And mainly my other interest is just do what I can to try to help the youth, man. I think, you do what you can to guide them the right way. So my biggest thing would be working with youth kids outside of ball and just try to give them, just uplift them, give them hope. Understand that, I was once one of you kids that was out here trying to do the wrong thing and just, understand that, there's another way, another path to make it in life.
Yeah, a couple more things here. I just want to get your thoughts on Russell Westbrook, and he gets criticized so much in his career, and obviously this year with the Lakers they didn't make the playoffs, but every team he goes to, something happens. But what are your thoughts on Westbrook? Do you think he needs to have his own team instead of playing with another star?
Nah, Westbrook is just tough, man. It was a tough year for him, and no one understands what he's going through. Because they're not in that situation position to where you go back to your hometown, you're playing from a team you looked up to since you were 5, 6, 7 years old. You're playing in front of all your family friends from high school, middle school, college. He went to UCLA, and you're one of the best players in the league, and this big snowball domino effect. So everything just came crashing down on you. Everything went wrong. With that team and with himself. So it's tough, man, but he's still one of the best players that ever played this game, man. To ever average a triple-double for a couple of seasons, man, it's phenomenal. And he took a lot of the blame, and the coach takes a lot of blame, but yet it's the whole team. The whole team was bad. LeBron, his numbers was good, but from a leader standpoint, you probably say this probably was one of his worst years as a leader. You know what I mean? That he's probably ever had. So Westbrook, man, is just tough, man. But the only thing I can say with him is he didn't make it bet on himself with how he handled the post-game conferences and handled the media. You got to understand, man, it comes with the game. It comes with what we do. You answer the questions the best of your ability and get out of there. That's it. To point the finger and go off on the media the way that's the only thing I say for Westbrook is he could have handled it different. But as far as everything else, Westbrook is still a phenomenal player. To me, still a Hall of Fame in my book. And I can only imagine how tough it is You know, if I had a chance to go play for the Knicks, a dream team, an organization that you dreamed of going to and playing for as a kid, and you're playing for your family and friends, and things just don't, everything's just not going well, and they're blaming me. I could imagine how frustrating every day you got to go home, your wife and kids. I could only imagine.
So now that you're out of the league, right? Now that your career is over, and you get to take a look back, take a look back and look at everything. And you say that you have no regrets, right? What's one of the things that you pull from that? And like you said, the kids that you're talking to, like, what's one of the main things that you let them know? Can you let our audience know that?
No, one of the main things is that you understand that even though you're good, there's people just as good, if not better. And you have to find a way to coexist with them on the court, right? And the same thing off the court, right? You guys are doing a podcast and doing what you do, but there's other people doing it too, and there's some people that are doing it just as good as you, if not better. You guys are doing it together, so you guys gotta learn how to coexist and make this thing go. And sometimes, especially for youngsters, they find it hard to have to coexist with and do things with someone that you see that they might be as talented or probably have more talent than you in whatever you're doing. And you got to be able to, again, coexist with them. You got to be able to continue to do what you're able to do without having any animosity towards others. One thing I did learn too is be happy for the next man and next woman's success. I'm happy, I'm happy for the next guy in the next locker to the left and to the right of me when I play. I'm excited for them. All right. Even if I'm not having a good year that year or good game, I'm happy for my teammates for what they're doing. And that's the same thing in life. Man. You go through in life that, especially in the inner cities and some of the places that a lot of us grow up in, there's so much jealousy and animosity that, we don't understand. It shouldn't be. Just think about, I grew up in Southside Jamaica, Queens. And why is there somebody that lives and grows, that's growing up the same way I'm growing up and going through the same situations family-wise that I'm going through? Why are they jealous and envious of me because I'm playing ball and trying to find a way in my life? Why would they, right? You should want to be happy for them and help that person, because if and when I do make it, I can help them out. So I learned that through sports, man, is that, be happy for your teammate's success and learn how to coexist with people and work with people.
Yeah. So before we get to the last two things, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Who do you see going to the finals this year, in the NBA finals this year?
Oh, it's tough, but I'm always a fan of the returning champion. So until someone beats them, I'm put my hat with the Bucks going. And then the West, this is gonna be tough because Phoenix looks like the front runner, but be careful of Memphis. In the West. So I don't really have a thing, but right now, until someone knocks the Bucks, I'm gonna roll with them until they get beat.
Well, imagine a Phoenix Suns and Memphis Grizzlies Western Conference Finals. That'd be crazy, off the hook, right there.
Well, to me, that's the way it's leaning.
Yeah,
that's the way it's leaning.
Yeah. So the last two things here. Our team is part of this foundation. It's called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. We're trying to help him prevent human trafficking, making sure the community stays safe, the kids stay safe, and it's so horrible out there what we're seeing with human trafficking. So we're trying to stop that with this foundation. So we'll send it to you so you can go check it out.
Yeah, I love to. I love to help out.
Thank you. And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and all the center workers right now?
Nurses and doctors, just keep doing what you're doing, man. It's life doesn't prolong and continue on without nurses and doctors. And my mother was an RN most of my career, my life. So without them, man, our lives wouldn't, again, we wouldn't live longer than what we're living now. And then and right now, they're going to be very crucial to life's expectancy, because life expectancy has dropped due to COVID and all this stuff going on. So they're actually going to be very instrumental to the life expectancy going past whatever the number is right now that we're expected to end. They're going to be very instrumental for us prolonging our lives.
Yeah. So would you like to plug anything to our fans where they can find you on social media?
Oh man, just on Instagram, official Rafer 724. No, sorry. That's my own. Instagram is Rafer724 Alston. Sometimes I'm on Facebook, Rafer Alston. That's it. And that's it. I coach my RA elite basketball teams. Yeah, I'm very I'm not hard to find. Let's put it like that.
And Robert, would you like to plug your page too to Rafer and the fans too?
Yeah, I'd like to let everybody know, come check out the Shot Makers League. We will be relaunching this summer. We have an event, our first event we're going to do in June in Atlanta. We're going to have some special guests doing the shootout. And Rafe, we would love to have you, man. Love to have you doing a shootout. Maybe some of the fans can engage with you in a virtual shootout.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, so that wraps up episode 1002 with former NBA point guard Rafer Alston. Man, thank you for joining us today. It's truly an honor. Thank you to our fans for tuning in and asking questions also. What a great career, great story. And man, we had fun on today's show. And thank you again, man. We would love to have you back on the show at some point so you can meet the full team. And but keep up the great work as a coach. And maybe down the line, we'll see you in the NBA coaching too. So
I hope college or NBA. But,
yeah.
Thank you for having me, man. I enjoyed it.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
Thanks.